I would honestly wouldn't think it would be beneath McConnell. Like if the hearings got delayed enough that it would be like they would have to hold a vote after the election, I wouldn't put it beneath him to try to do it in lame duck. Uh, but
That's true.
I think Mitch
That would
McConnell
be
knows.
unprecedented.
Yeah, I think Mitch McConnell knows that Trump is fucked in the election, so he's just trying to solidify his legacy at
I
least
think
by
he's
trying to.
beginning to realize that he's fucked in the election.
I don't think Amy McGrath is going to beat him, but I think it's very likely that he will not be the majority leader anymore.
I don't think he's as popular. I mean, from the polls I saw, I mean, I don't know. He could still win, but from what I've
He's
seen,
not.
his
He's not
popularity has
popular.
dropped a lot.
He's
In
not. He's not popular, but neither is Amy McGrath. Amy
fair enough.
McGrath is more like that's why I think Charles Booker, like I keep saying, Charles Booker definitely would have been able to beat Mitch McConnell. Not guaranteed, but he would have at least had a fighting chance. Whereas
Yeah.
Amy McGrath is more like she is one of a long line of Democratic candidates that Chuck Schumer and other like Democratic leaders before him have appointed to run in these areas or like to run in these states and to run in these elections in which there are Republican strongholds, or seemingly, because
Yeah.
yeah, Mitch
I mean, Mitch
McConnell is
McConnell's his
not.
legacy.
Yeah,
I mean, Mitch McConnell's legacy, I think, is largely going to be the same as Trump's. I mean, I mean, involving the courts. I mean, Donald Trump is going to be remembered as the guy who
yeah,
stacked, a bunch of courts with conservative judges, and Mitch McConnell's going to be the guy who kept Obama's nominee from getting onto the seat
yeah,
and confirmed two justices while Donald Trump was in office.
yeah. Like it, like that is definitely without a doubt going to be the biggest part of Trump's legacy is how he just completely loaded all of the benches with
Yeah, how we
all of
fucked the
these
courts
right
for a
wing
whole generation
justices
or
and
more.
judges. Yeah, it's and and that is something that the left like along this is like one of the very few issues in which like both the far left and the more centrist Democrats do share equal concern because the far right wing justices means potentially like no Medicare for all, no free college, because they're going to pull some kind of weird unconstitutional argument out of their ass.
It can be even more radical than that. It can mean no public option at all as far as healthcare is concerned. It can mean a
Well,
criminalization
yeah,
of abortion. It can
yeah. Amy Coney Barrett thinks
so
that
many
the
things.
Affordable
Yeah.
Care Act is
Right. I
unconstitutional.
mean, no Medicare for all is like, I mean, that's nothing compared to what could happen. I mean, Roe v. Wade could be overturned. The Obergefell and Hodges, that case could be challenged. I mean, there's a whole lot that's not, uh, what was her word? Super precedent yet. Um,
Yeah,
that would be in like a generation or so that could get overturned.
yeah. I mean, I think she says that Brown v. Board is a super president. So yeah, she's not for segregation. At least
Would she have said
it,
that would she have said that in the 70s even?
I
Or
don't think so.
in the 60s, but even in the 70s, I don't know if she would have said that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the hearings a little bit because this is what Mitch McConnell is focused on for the most part, and this is the reason why he's not interested in talking about a stimulus because he's kind of come to accept that no matter what happens, Trump is going to lose. At least that's my prediction. But yeah, there's a few like you said something like I earlier said like you were watching like some of the hearings and you just said like Amy Coney Barrett just does not seem like a smart person.
Not
And
to me.
yeah, and like and I think
She seems
Democrats have
well.
been very
I want to
careful
actually I want
about
to
that.
clarify that. She reminds me of the people in my classes in high school who would get A's. That's what I'll say about her.
So like high school level knowledge. I mean, like she can't name like all five. Like this was the thing. Like that
Like I don't
Senator
know
Ben Sass, like
if
from
it
Nebraska.
here I'll say if IQ meant anything, which it doesn't. If it did, I would guess her IQ would be somewhere between 115 and 130.
Yeah, like there was that moment which like Senator Ben Sass from Nebraska asked her like, "Can you name the five things in the First Amendment that are protected?"
Oh yeah,
You know,
and she couldn't. She forgot the right to petition, right?
yeah, or something. I don't remember the exact clip. I'll pull it up. I don't know. I could.
Because
I
I
probably.
was running because I was running through them in my head before she did it because I wanted to make sure I could do it.
Yeah,
And
I
I
probably couldn't do it. but I mean, then again, I'm not up
It's
for.
speech. It's speech, religion, assembly, petition, and press.
Yeah,
That was easy.
yeah, but like I probably couldn't. Yeah, like I said, I probably couldn't do it. But then again, I'm not up for the Supreme Court. So,
Right, you're not up for the fucking highest position in your
or
in the
it's literally my job to know exactly what the Constitution says.
yeah.
Yeah, viral video. Ben Sass gives civics lesson during Amy Coney Barrett confirmation hearing. This
Oh,
should.
oh yeah, no. I didn't see the entirety of Sass's questioning, but I think I saw this part.
Yeah.
Stop and watch, because what you're about to see is me
What the
completely shaving
fuck?
my beard for the first
Beard
time
Club.
in 8 years.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge Barrett, welcome.
Where is he from?
Jesse,
He's a Republican from Nebraska,
Okay.
congratulations.
and he's one of the least
I
asshole
just
of
want
the
to say,
Senate
Senator
Republicans.
Klobuchar said a number of things about COVID that I agree with. She cited a bunch of really painful stories in Minnesota, and similar stories could be told.
How do you say stuff about COVID that you agree with or disagree with? Are these just facts?
Like it's science. Yeah, like
I don't know what any
I
of that has
disagree
Like saying
with
Darwin said a
science.
lot about evolution that I agree with.
parts of what we're doing
Okay.
in the hearing would be really confusing to eighth graders. If civics classes across the country tuned into this hearing and tried to figure out what we're here to do, and they heard as
Yo, I
many
bet civics teachers had a field day with this.
committee debates about what
Yeah.
should be in a healthcare reform package.
I would jizz my pants if I were a civics teacher and the Supreme Court nominee forgot one of the 5 rights guaranteed in the First Amendment.
discussions we've had in here today fit better in a finance committee hearing than in a judiciary committee hearing. So I think it would be very useful for us to pause
Oh, she's
and
wearing a
remind
mask. Okay,
ourselves
she's not a
and do
complete.
some of our civic duty to eighth graders
not a complete
to help them
doofus.
realize what a president runs for, what a senator runs for, and on the other hand, why Judge Barrett is sitting before us today, and what the job is that you're being evaluated for. So if we can back up and do a little bit of eighth grade civics, I think it would benefit us and benefit the watching country, and especially watching eighth grade civics classes. So I'd like to distinguish first between civics and politics, because there was a time, the chairman said at the beginning of this hearing, there was a time when people that would be as different as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and she was a heroic woman. That's absolutely true.
Uh-oh. What is he going to say?
And Scalia, another brilliant mind and your mentor, people that different could
Yeah, she
both go
clerked for
through
him.
the Senate and get confirmation votes of
Oh, okay. I thought he was going to say something bad.
and the chairman said at the beginning of the hearing, he doesn't know what happened between then and now. I think some of what happened between then and now,
don't?
we decided to forget what civics are and allow politics to swallow everything. So if I can start, I'd like to just remind us of the distinction.
What a nice 8th grade philosophy answer to that
Civics
question.
is the stuff we're all supposed to agree on, regardless of our policy views differences. Civics is another way we talk about the rules of the road. Civics 101 is the stuff like Congress writes laws, the executive branch enforces laws, courts apply them. None of that stuff should be different.
Holy fuck,
if
this is
you're a
boring.
Republican or a Democrat or a Libertarian or a Green Party member. This is basic civics.
When is she going to fucking forget the
All
fucking thing?
Americans should agree on.
Shit, I'm swearing a lot.
See
I
if
just
I-
realized that.
It's like Amy Coney Barrett, First Amendment. Right to protest.
We admiringly
that's-
called her
That's the same as the right to
for
petition.
that trailblazing courage.
And
What
Citizens
are
United.
the 5 freedoms of the First Amendment?
Speech, religion, press, assembly,
Petition or
press,
protest.
religion, assembly.
And things like, yeah, she answers them very slowly as well. Like, you know, like that's how, like, this is kind of like the answer I would give in
Well,
in a civics class.
I don't know. In her defense, this has got to be the fucking most stressful position you could ever be in.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
But also, like, and I don't know. I suppose I could like forgive a student or something who didn't like review the First Amendment as much as they should have because they were trying
Yeah.
to see other stuff. But this is like her life, dude.
Yeah,
Job.
like she's been a
No.
judge for a few years now. Like she
I mean,
clerked
she
for
should know,
Antonin
like-
Scalia.
She should be able to look at her wedding ring and know the 5 rights in the First Amendment. I mean, this should be really easy for her.
Yeah, and she should especially know what the right to protest is because, like she clerked for Antonin Scalia, and Antonin Scalia, you know, he gave like the majority opinion on a landmark case about free speech when it came to like flag burning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I won't hold her to Scalia's opinion so much just because I don't know about their relationship. But I mean, at least she got speech and religion. I don't know. I mean, those are the easiest ones.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm trying to give her some credit here, but this is embarrassing. I
It's
can't.
hard. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
I don't know. What am I missing?
Redress or protest.
Okay.
Why is there one amendment that has these 5 freedoms clustered? Why do they hang together?
I don't know what you're getting at on that one. You mean like what is the common denominator?
Yeah, I mean, why?
That's exactly what he
I'm
asked.
getting back to the same idea that the Bill of Rights was sort of an attempt to do public catechesis. It was an attempt to say, we already believe in limited government, we the founders. That's the brilliance of the miracle at Philadelphia, despite all the failures to live up to our ideals. But the 1787, 1788 conversation was to say, we believe in limited government because we believe in the limitless rights of people. And so they didn't have a Bill of Rights, but later when they started spelling it out, it's sort of like they got jazzed up trying to work this out for the American people. This is amazing stuff. And so I'm just wanting to hear you reflect a little
Is
bit.
he a teacher? Is that why he's talking
the
about
First
this?
Amendment?
I don't know. But like I don't know.
I know that there are a handful of Congress people who were teachers.
Yeah, or like including Jamal Bowman,
forget.
who's gonna be starting in Congress in January. Like,
Hold on, I'm sorry. Who did you say?
Jamal Bowman, who ran
Oh,
New
yeah,
York's
yeah.
14th district
Yes.
as a Justice Dem.
And I was thinking there's another woman too who's really smart. I forget where she's from, but she was fuck. I don't remember. There are a handful of them.
Yeah, lots of women are smart. Like, there's
That's not
another
what I
woman.
meant, Harry.
There was another woman who was smart. What was her name?
There are a lot of women in Congress who aren't smart.
Yeah. Yeah, stupidity and intelligence transcends the concept of gender.
Or the concept of gender transcends intelligence. No, it doesn't. Never mind. That was a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, like,
Even though it wasn't needed as a part of the structure at the beginning, once they added it, why 5 of them in the same amendment?
I don't know why, actually, as a historical matter, those were grouped. I'm sure there's a story that I don't know there about why those appeared in the First Amendment altogether rather than being split up in different amendments. I mean, assembly and protest and speech bear more relation to one another than necessarily free exercise.
It's the right to criticize the government.
But I think,
the right to criticize the government.
And I think that reflects that those were core values. That reflects that the states
it's the right to criticize the government.
And the original Constitution and the understanding that a Bill of Rights would be added, wanted protections like that to be included because they were really core to what the new Americans thought was going to be America.
Thank you. I agree with you, and I think some of why it's so difficult to think about the 5 together in my mind is because you don't really have freedom of religion if you don't also have freedom of assembly. If you can't gather with your co-religionists, you don't really have freedom of speech if you can't also publish your beliefs and advocate for them. You don't really have any of those freedoms if you can't protest times and seek the redress of grievances in times when government oversteps and tries to curtail any of those freedoms. And I think some of the important questions about judicial modesty in some of the last 3 days of hearings are very relevant.
I don't know. I think, yeah.
Dude, look at his face. He was like, I was not expecting this to trip her up. Oh, no.
Yeah, I think that was mostly the thoughts on most people's minds. Like, she's probably going to be on the highest court in the fucking...
They're like, she doesn't understand how the fucking 5 rights of the First Amendment relate to each other? Are you serious?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Even I would have been able to bullshit an answer if I couldn't think clearly.
Yeah, me too.
Just say it's the right to criticize the government. Holy fuck, that's the easy answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I will add this. Like Ben Sass said, like, oh, we have protests, in case the government oversteps and curtails those rights. I would also add, like, even though that is very true, like in cases like, like we have like the fucking military in our streets because of, like as like Trump's response to the Black Lives Matter protests.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely one of them, but he also needs to include, when the government doesn't do enough. And
right, there needed to be like the answer that they're all related and that one right can't exist without the others is yeah, I mean that's true. But yeah, I agree that there needed to be more about how it's a check on the government.
Yeah.
Or on totalitarianism specifically.
Yeah. And you said there was like I watched a little bit of this earlier. There was like a moment with Senator Whitehouse talking basically about like GOP hypocrisy in this situation, which I think
it was what's the case called? Was it called the Aboot case? I can't remember the case name.
I don't know, but let's go to the tape. How about that?
Let me go to Google because there was a case that she very clearly it came to be clear that she didn't know that much about it.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember what it was called. It's definitely not a boot. It starts with an A.
But
it was replaced by the Janus case, I think.
Yeah, or like the one thing that really the one moment from Sheldon Whitehouse.
Yeah,
that really stood out was when he was accusing, like he had like said like
a boot. It's called a boot. I'm sorry. I was close.
All right. Like, what Sheldon Whitehouse was saying was that he was accusing dark money of influencing Barrett's nomination. So, like, I think we can go to that real quick. Here's like.
Okay, I think this must be a different day then.
Okay. Like, here's like a 2-minute clip.
Holy fuck.
Oh wow.
Is that seriously a flip phone?
A touch flip phone? What
no
the hell?
Fucking way they're at AT&T's advertising a flip. No way. What the fuck?
Very awkward 180s from colleagues. Mr. Chairman, you figure in this. Our leader said back when it was Garland versus Gorsuch, that of course, the American people should have a say
maybe this is the
direction. Of course, said Mitch McConnell. That's long gone. Senator Grassley said the American people shouldn't be denied a voice.
Oh, Grassley, now that's a stupid man right there.
That's long gone.
Totally.
Senator Cruz said, you don't do this in an election year. That's long gone. And our chairman made his famous hold the tape promise, if an opening comes in the last year of President Trump's term, we'll wait till the next election.
That's Graham, right? The chairman?
Wait, is Graham the chairman?
I can't remember.
Well, that was Lindsey Graham who said, yeah, we'll wait. Yeah.
So there is a lot of hard to explain hypocrisy and rush taking place right now. And my experience—
Just explain it as hypocrisy.
That when you find hypocrisy in the daylight, look for power in the shadows. Now, people may say, well, what is all this matter?
He looks very uncomfortable. He's just like...
Just like, I knew that this would not be a fun process, but holy fuck, I just want it to be over.
I want to see him have a moment like he did in the Kavanaugh hearings, where he just explodes in like a fucking tomato, like his face.
Yeah,
like,
Dude, I'm so sure. I'm like 85% sure that Lindsey Graham has been a closeted homosexual his entire life.
That is kind of a meme at this point, but
and he's just insanely wound up.
Yeah.
This is a political parlor game. It's no big deal. Well,
he always looks like
there's some pretty high stakes here that we've been talking about.
It looks like he has something up his ass.
And I'll tell you 3 of them right here. Roe versus Wade, Obergefell and the Obamacare case.
That's how it's pronounced.
Here's how
Obergefell.
the Washington Post summed it up.
I've heard it pronounced
This is a
Obergefell and
conservative
Obergefell.
activist behind-the-scenes campaign to remake the nation's courts, and it's a $250 million dark money operation.
Holy fuck.
$250 million is a lot of money to spend if you're not getting anything for it. So that raises the question, what are they getting for it? Well, I showed the slide earlier on the Affordable Care Act and on Obergefell and on Roe versus Wade. That's where they lost. But with another judge, that could change. That's where the contest is. That's where the Republican Party platform tells us to look at how they want judges to rule, to reverse Roe, to reverse the Obamacare cases, and to reverse Obergefell and take away gay marriage. That is their stated objective and plan. Why not take them at their word?
Damn.
I always thought it was pronounced Obergefell, but I think that's because I've only seen it written out. Yeah, I can't believe it's already been 5 years since Obergefell was passed, or since Obergefell was decided.
Yeah, I think we had the anniversary like a month or so ago or something. I don't know how long ago it was.
That should be a super precedent. I mean, but yeah, I guess it's still too recent.
Yeah.
Honest, I can't really imagine that Obergefell would be reversed, were Amy Coney Barrett to be put on the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Abortion is definitely more controversial than gay marriage, but so like I could imagine a world in which Roe v. Wade is overturned, as bad as it would be. I can imagine that happening. I can't imagine that with the Birch.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, everyone pretty much knows gays now. Like, everyone has gay neighbors and gay friends and gay families, but people are still very reserved about discussing abortion. And so even everyone probably knows people who've had abortions, they don't know that they know people who've had abortions. We're just not there in the country yet.
Yeah, abortion is one of those very rare issues in which ordinary people like understand that, you know, the objective is not the same. Because I mean, like, you know, the objective between, you know, like working class and like you know, like an upper classes are different, but as far as like ordinary voters, our objective is mainly is relatively the same with a lot of issues. You know, like we want, you know, everyone to at least have access to healthcare, right? Like at the very least, you know, or like we all want to be able to go to college. It's just like a difference of how we want to get there. But like abortion is definitely the opposite. Abortion is about the objective entirely.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, there's also an end to it as well, though. I mean, you're right that on the objective point, but the end of opposing it is to restrict women's reproductive freedom.
Yeah.
And of course, to supporting it is to expand it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you're 100% right. Holy fuck. This is not good.
Yeah.
It's like kind of just dawning on me. Because I mean, I guess we're like, the whole wave of the Trump era just like drowns you continually, but it's just kind of dawning on me how absolutely fucked the whole system is.
Yeah, and that's further apparent, you know, with what, you know, Senator Whitehouse was talking about, like all these different dark money groups, like, you know, like, yeah, they're supporting Barrett before she was even like the nominee. It's like, sketchy.
And she
Very
was
sketchy shit.
She was trying to say later or sometime during the hearing that she did not have like a committed stance on the issue of Roe v. Wade and any other case. Like, and she kept on trying to dodge questions, like saying, "Oh, that's a question of policy, not of law," or something. Or she would say, like she would make that distinction a lot. She would say, "I'll talk about legal stuff, but not policy stuff." I mean, she was. I mean, she was being a weasel. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole situation with the Supreme Court is quite depressing, and I'm not.
Jesus, yeah.
Like, I'm just hoping that
dude, if she's put on the court, it's going to be a conservative court for a generation, at least.
Yeah. Well, it's already like that, you know, with like the appointment of Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. Not because we've had that 5-4 majority conservative.
Right.
Like,
I mean, it's still
majority
4-4
for a long time, but like these are relatively young people, especially Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Kavanaugh's like only like 50 something.
Gorsuch is pretty young too. I mean,
yeah.
So is John Roberts. He's not the most the Chief Justice, and he's, not the most liberal guy ever, though he has been siding with the liberals more and more.
Yeah, like he was, he. I think it was, or no, that was Neil Gorsuch. Neil Gorsuch wrote the majority opinion on, on the case that basically said that gender identity and also sexual orientation is is specifically protected in the Civil Rights Act. So they
Well, that's
can't be
good.
they can't be discriminated against in the
That's
workplace.
true.
That was earlier this year.
I forgot about that. Yeah, Gorgeous has been doing some stuff that has made the conservatives angry.
Yeah,
That's true.
and that's what I was talking about, as potential electoral implications, because Neil Gorsuch is there for the exact purpose of trying to do the opposite of what that meant, what that was. That's the part of the reason why Trump is in office. The reason, Sagar and Jetty on Rising has talked about this quite extensively. Part of the reason why Trump is in office is because he was able to mobilize the social conservatives over the issue of abortion in the Supreme Court and the potentiality of overturning things like Roe v. Wade, Obergefell v. Hodges.
That's been in the background of his presidency. I mean, the entire time that he might get Roe v. Wade overturned.
Yeah, and the courts was a very big issue in the 2016 election, and after this decision, which Neil Gorsuch, the Trump-appointed justice, wrote the majority opinion on a case that protects that now allows protections, or now forces protections for LGBTQ in the workplace. A lot of those social conservatives just kind of have a reason to just stay home, pretty much.
How many women are on the Supreme Court? Is it just one?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it was 3.
Who's the other woman besides Sotomayor?
Elena Kagan. She was another Obama justice.
Jesus Christ, we need more women on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but not Coney Barrett, because policy matters too.
Well, she's a Catholic woman.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess minorities too, though. Whatever.